Right, you two guys singing back there? That was nice. All right, keep it short, Don. That's well. After 48 years, I've learned that anyway. So, I spent a little time this morning just sitting on my front porch looking at the flag for a while. And I kind of wanted the flag to talk to me. You know, flag, how are we doing as a nation? How best can we honor you? How best can we thank you? How best can we serve you? Oh, flag, people have died for you. You ever been to Abraham Lincoln Cemetery or Arlington National Cemetery, and you see those lines of tombstones, you realize that the gift of freedom didn't come easy. So many people gave so much so we can do what we do today. But then I asked the flag, why today are we so divided? Why do we have to yell and scream and hate and blame just because we're different and have a different way of looking at things? It's funny, today, it has nothing to do with anything, but what the heck. Ray comes in the church. Ray has been coming here for a long time. He is one crusty guy. And if there are two people that are different in the way we look at politics in the world, it couldn't be different than me and Ray. And I said, what are you doing here, Ray? And he said, I came here to exercise my fiduciary responsibility. And I said, what suburb is fiduciary? Where is that? He said, no, fiduciary means I came to bring my offering. And I said, I'm going to use the word fiduciary in my sermon, even if it doesn't make any sense. But the thing about Ray and I are we listen to each other. We can sit and talk. We don't have to yell, scream. We can love each other in the midst of our differences. And why can't we do that as a country? I was just thinking of today, and today is early, you know. Made a couple of pots of coffee this morning. Came to the church and put the key in the door and opened it. Went over to Orland Bakery for some donuts. Put a couple of fresh American and Ukrainian flags in the front. Stood in the parking lot and watched the sunrise. And I realized how blessed I am to be an American. And I love the diversity of our country. It's like we're a kaleidoscope of the human spirit. And I like that. That's part of who we are. But so often I take all that stuff for granted. And I think a lot of times we don't realize that we could be somewhere else. And my gosh, you've put up with me for 48 years. I'm so lucky. You may not be, but I am. I'm blessed every day. I think of the fact that I've baptized your kids. Now I'm baptizing your grandkids. But there are moments in life, aren't there? When something happens in your life and all of a sudden you stop and you think. When my son Aaron called me on Thursday and said that all those tests that were taken with his knee, that he's got lymphoma and there's cancer cells in there, all of a sudden my world stopped. And I thought about how I just so often take for granted calling him on the phone and doing all that stuff, and I can't wait to see him on Tuesday. I think of Lenny. You know, Lenny to most people is the video guy. He's going to sing for us in a few minutes. But today his heart is heavy because his older brother passed away, and he carries that inside his soul. Jan Mitchell, who I think Jan was like 38 or 39 years old when I came here. She's now well into her 80s and had to go into memory care. One of the most vibrant people that ever came through our church. I think of Bill Colgan. Bill, he's in Hawaii. You've never met him probably. He's so supportive of our church. He was the department head of the science at Lincoln Way Central for years. And I said, Bill, how are you doing? He said, Don, I'm getting old. I don't know how old you are, Bill, 86, 87, whatever it is. But I think of that passage of time. And then there's a minister named Steve Swanson. And I bet Pat's husband might have known him. Steve was one of the go-to guys when I came here. And now he's in a rehab place and can't walk anymore. And I think of him. I realize each one of us has a journey. And the flag tells us, and without saying a word, that every journey has dignity and respect and purpose. And people have fought and died to give us that respect and that dignity and that purpose. And probably one of the greatest gifts is that when you get up in the morning or whenever it is that you get up, to be able to wake up and face another day with a sense of purpose, to feel down deep inside your guts that there's a reason for you being here, that there's a reason for you living one more day, that is one of the greatest gifts. You know, you could be lying in bed in a nursing home for the rest of your life and still have purpose. You can be in memory care and half the time not even knowing who you are and who your family is, and you can still have purpose. You could be homebound and still have purpose. You can be stuck in a job that you don't like and still have purpose. You can be confused and depressed. You may wonder if you make a difference in the world, but you do, because that sense of purpose is something inside each one of us. And to be able to capture that and believe it is one of the greatest of all gifts. You see, God tells us, and Jesus tells us, and our flag tells us, we do have purpose, and we do matter for something, and we matter a lot, even if it's just to one or two other people. I saw a picture the other day on television. Just breaks my heart. A Ukrainian soldier, his wife, and their little daughter, and they're holding hands walking down the street, and everything around them is obliterated. There's nothing there that speaks of life. And I thought to myself, how could this be brought about by a man that somehow has lost his soul and lost his purpose? Because in the middle of all that, though, in the middle of all that, the flag waves and freedom beckons. And we can't stop caring and praying and giving, because that's who we are. And in the middle of all that, a child is baptized, a symbol of the circle of life, a symbol of the hope that each one of us shares. And there is a guy in the church today whose heart is heavy, but he continues to share those words, God bless the USA.